welcome to the dojo. We got to name this something cool, man. Like, the dojo scrolls, the basics of meme coins, right? So what we're talking about today, guys, is the simple process of how to, get through meme coins, right? So meme coin 101. So I think the first part of meme coin 101 is how to invest properly in meme coins 101. And then the second part is how to support the community that you're in so that you can what they call work for your bags, right? Which would be being in a chat active, and you don't you don't have to do a lot to support a project. It's just word of mouth marketing. And there's ways to do this based on what we call raids. And I think a lot of people don't know what that really means. They think it's very complicated. And the community, like I said, on the other side, needs to make memes where um, that it's set up in a way that raids are done systematically, so that there's a time, right? So we're thinking that on the hour of every hour between X, Y, and Z, right? Normally we're active from 3:30 Eastern time till midnight Eastern time. So maybe like every other hour from let's say 4 o'clock Eastern or 5 o'clock Eastern, 5, 7, 9, and 11, we'll set up a raid. But let's go through the basics here. So first thing we want to do is um, let's cover how the raids work, right? So right now we have a Telegram. Inside the Telegram, you can see that Ashok posted a raid, right? It pops up in a Telegram, and this is how your Telegram is active. And it says status here, Ashok, Twitter, and you see this little, the raid has gone for 15 minutes, and he has a link there, right? So Ashok, walk us through here, join the page. So all we have to do here is just click the X right there.
All right. So essentially, what I just did now was the space that I have open. I shared the link in the main chat for that space. Anybody that is available to hit that link in the main chat, simply you hit the link. It's going to prompt you a screen. It's going to bring you right to Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, you're going to be able to bookmark, like, repost, quote repost, comment on the post that I made. And this is just in reference to this space, this particular raid. So I haven't raided anybody in this space. I've just posted our space to have the community raided. Within the space, if you click on the actual space link that I posted before this raid, you'll actually be asked if you want to join that space. If you join that space, everything we're talking about in here, we can talk about in there. And we can actually post essentially unlimited raids up on the Jumbotron. And one tactic that I liked about this that kind of sets it apart from Telegram is anybody that's a speaker can post as many pinned posts up to the Jumbotron. And if we're throwing raids up there, this allows anybody listening in to potentially hit that post and raid it. So say we have the 8 or 9 of us posted up in this space, and I share a raid to the Jumbotron. And then we can do this unlimitedly with new posts. So I think it's a cool thing that we could consider doing in the future, rather than just throwing raids on our Telegram timeline. We can also throw raids in the space, which I feel like is more effective, only because with it being a recorded space, somebody can listen to it on playback. They can see what we've been raiding up in the Jumbotron. And yeah, ultimately, the more speakers, the more raids that are available, and it's just a good way to kind of cross-pollinate with each other. So again, I think what we should do, honestly, is join that
space.
We can speak in that space just like we're speaking in the Telegram right now.
All right, so I'm gonna go off here. So I hear music in there right now. So you playing music?
Yeah. So anytime you open a space, there's kind of some generic traditional music that'll play. Ultimately, you can kind of like choose whatever vibe you want. But the second I open my mic on that music's gonna stop, and it will not start again unless I ask.
All right, switch over to that. Let me see if I can hear you.
how's it going, guys? Got my mic open in the space now. Those of you guys that are listening in the Telegram, if you look up at the top here of the Jumbotron, you're going to see a raid. So if you look at replying to Ape Cryptos up above, you guys click on that. And when you click on that, you're able to scroll down a little. You can see you can bookmark, like, repost, comment.
All right, you kind of broke up in there, so let's walk me through here again. All right, so I opened it up, I hit join. Now we're in the spaces. So now I can see everybody in here. I see you're the host. I see we have Cyrus in here, Gold.
And another thing is only. Yeah, so ultimately, guys, now that you're in the space, and I'll close my mic in the space, you guys can just hear me talking on the Telegram. What you're able to do now is up top, that posted Jumbotron post, you're able to click on that. You can like, repost, quote, tweet, and comment on that post. And then anybody that's a speaker Telegram in this space can throw a raid up in that Jumbotron now.
All right, so for everybody, the key here is just simply going up there in the Jumbotron, clicking on that, liking it, reposting it, and we have some here bookmarking it. Does comments help there? I guess we can throw comments in there too, right?
Yeah, comment probably has the most effective part to the algorithm aside from repost.
Okay, so on there you guys can start off with something simple like yo, hello, right? And just kind of get us to where the comments are starting to move. And then, you know, this is how you can stay active. Right, and this is where you can do things that's not that hard to come here and support what's happening there.
So one thing I'm going to tell you to do right now, and it's going to support what we're doing, BC, is mute your mic in the Telegram and open your mic in the space.
All right, let's see here.
The reason why I asked you to mute your mic in the Telegram, for anybody that's been a part of the Telegram does not like when you have a space open. You get a lot of feedback.
All right, there we go.
So ultimately, when you're in one, you want to be muted in the other. And then, like I was saying, guys, those of you that have joined the space now, we're kind of using this space as kind of like an educational tutorial thing. Up top, you guys can see that post I made a few minutes ago to Ape Cryptos. Those of you guys that aren't familiar with doing a raid in the Jumbotron, all you're going to simply click is the post I made. Once you click on it, you scroll down a little, you're going to see that you can bookmark, like, repost, and comment, which most of everybody in this space has done. He's made a couple comments here. Another thing that you can do while you're waiting to be a speaker like this is in the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see a little bubble. If you click on that, you can actually comment on the space. So anytime you're part of a space, one thing you're going to want to do is click the bubble in the bottom right corner and comment on the space. Could be something bullish about the project, could be something bullish about the space, but ultimately it's going to help this space become more visible to people that follow me, the host, on X. So that's something I'm going to suggest to everybody in the room is hit that bottom, normally it's a purple pill, but that bottom comment button in the bottom right-hand corner, click that, leave a comment, whether it's about Ninja or about the space, click there. And then everybody, including yourself, BC, right now, if you scroll Twitter, you went to crypto Twitter, like I commonly do, I find somebody that, you know, recently made a post that has a decent amount of followers, and then I post against it. And ultimately, when you post against it, this is essentially what a raid is. And I try to target people that have made a post within a few minutes, sometimes a few seconds if you can get lucky.
What are you posting? Like, what are you posting? Are you going there? Are you okay? So you're finding a post right now. You're going to the.
All right, so
you're
what?
commenting. But what are you
Yep. So
posting
what
in the
I'm
comment?
doing is I'm going to my timeline
Mm-hmm.
and I'm looking for an influencer
Mm-hmm.
or somebody that has a fair amount of followers that has recently posted. So one right now is Mr. Soul. He commented on my timeline. What are we buying today? Need a 10x minimum. So I'm going to click on his. I'm going to type in Shinobi Ninja, and I'm going to do my normal little spiel that I do on my raid. Just hold on. It's only going to take me a second. And I recommend anybody that does raids kind of have like a few different styles that you do. You never want to use the same style, only because they get you shadow banned, especially if you're not someone that's commonly raiding on Twitter. The Twitter algorithm will shadow ban you if it thinks you're doing stuff outside of your normal thing. So those of you guys that are on Twitter a lot, you're probably not going to get shadow banned for making comments. But for those of you that don't use Twitter a lot, if you're making constant comments after not making comments, it's probably going to shadow ban you. So keep that in mind. I know many members in the past have been shadow banned just for raiding in general, but typically it's because your raids aren't thought out or concise. Anybody that raids influences posts that's shared by somebody else should always consider what they're actually commenting. You don't want to leave comments that just say, let's fucking go, or LFG, or just hashtag the project. You really want to leave something kind of like Rob Wright does. It's informational. It kind of is leaving a general consensus that you're bullish on the project or whatever.
So what we need.
So one thing I'm going to do right now, BC, is I just commented, like I said, on an influencer.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm going to do is, after I've commented, I'm going to go to my replies within my Twitter. Once I click on the reply that I made to Mr. Soul, if I scroll down, I'm going to see a little line with an arrow coming out of it. I'm going to click that. And at the top of the share post link, I'm going to see Ninja Raid Session, which is the name of my space that I have here. I'm going to click that. Now that I've clicked it, everybody down below listening into this space, you're now able to comment on another Jumbotron post that I've made up top now. So we had our original Jumbotron post to 8 cryptos. We're now going to have one to Mr. Soul. So let me know if you guys see that.
So you just hit the little arrow on the side.
Correct. So you can see now, if you scroll up to the top of our space, our Jumbotron up there, you're going to see that I recently made a post 1 minute ago replying to Mr. Solana69. You know, he's got a pretty fair amount of followers. He's got close to 63,000 followers, so it's a good person to raid. Everything checked out there. You can see what I did in my raid. Hold on, is it not shared up there anymore? Get that out on me.
All right, so let's do another one on him. Hit him again.
Hold on, I'm gonna.
What we need to do is.
Because
that's a point right there that we probably don't think of, is that a lot of times people don't know what to say on a raid. So maybe the one thing we need to do is...
That's what I was just going to spotlight here, BC, is anytime anybody is making a direct comment to a new raid, one thing that's important to include in this, I always like to include the project name with a hashtag. So in this case, on my post I made, if you guys look at the Jumbotron, you're going to see Shinobi Ninja. I put have conviction, community is everything. I left a link to the main Twitter page as well as our Telegram group, which I always do. And I dropped the CA, because some people are just looking for CAs and they want to pull up their charts themselves. So I always find it helpful to drop a CA, let them know that we have the socials available, the Twitter and the Telegram. That's going to make them more inclined to look at what we have. And then a cat tag. If they click on the cat tag, they're going to look for anybody else that has commented or posted on Twitter, hashtag Ninja, which there's a fair amount of us that do it, and I'm all over Spaces all day doing that. So when they click that, they're probably seeing a lot of posts that I've made. ultimately now this post that I made is shared up at the Jumbotron. So anybody listening to the space here, you guys are able to click on that link now on the Jumbotron. I see a few have already done it already. VC did it, Ninja Wright did it, Max did it. You guys can click, you can like, repost, all that type of stuff.
So this is a very simple thing, and I think to kind of add to what it is like, I think we set up like raids, like I said, maybe even every 2 hours we do a raid on the hour. So that way, no matter where you're living or whatever you're doing, you don't need to know if it's 3, 5, 5 o'clock Eastern. If we do them at 5 o'clock Eastern, 7 Eastern, 9 and 11, it basically gives you 4 options of raids. And once you see your time, you know it's the top of the hour. And at the top of the hour, we can post in our Telegram and then give out versions of what you can, put in there. Or, you know what I mean? Things that people can post, right? So this is just a very basic breakdown of what you should post, right? Like have conviction, or things are cooking here. Our community's building, right? And just all you're using is really just the first line is Shinobi, put your ninja coin, and then just a simple thing. He has conviction, or you can put where things are happening. Come take a look, and the next thing is our community's building, something about community, and then you put at Ninja01 and then throw in the Telegram. So once you have that saved on a little somewhere on your computer, put it somewhere in a what is that, the little notes or whatever. You have something that you can come back and you can post, and all you have to do is just change up the little basics there, and make sure you have the CA in there.
Yep, and for anybody that's unfamiliar with raiding and hasn't done it a lot, another thing that I'll do sometimes is the main X account, in this series for Shinobi Ninja, has made a post recently. I might go to the main Shinobi Ninja X account, copy that link of that latest post, and then I will comment on some influencers' post that they made. I'll include the link. And then above that link, once I've included it, I'll say something like Shinobi Ninja, community is everything. Come check out the TG, and I'll drop the TG link as well as the CA. Now you have my post that I've just made, and also included with this is the link to the post of the main Shinobi Ninja account that has recently been made. That way, who's ever viewing this gets to see that there was a post made recently by our Twitter account, as well as whatever we've decided to drop as our raid. And it's kind of like a 2-for-1 special here, because now they see that our Twitter account is active, it's making posts, as well as us raiding, and it gives the viewer the option now to look more at our, our social handles, whether it's clicking on that link for that Twitter account or the Telegram link that I've included. But ultimately, you kind of want to do the due diligence for them. And one thing I've noticed is I get a lot more interaction on my posts when I've included this, because you're giving them everything they're going to be doing anyway. They're going to want to look for that CA. They're going to want to pull up a deck. They might want to jump into TG. I've given them the link. They're going to cross-reference with our Twitter account. So they're going to go right to the Twitter account. They're going to say, oh, this post was made just a day ago. Oh, look, there's tons of views, tons of comments. Again, these are all things that from an investor's perspective or a trader's perspective, you're looking for. So anybody that offers it to you right off the bat, you're going to be way more inclined to investigate this stuff, because, again, they're saving you a lot of the legwork.
And that's kind of like the best way to think of it, is that at the end of the day, putting the stuff that's what everyone's going to be looking for, it just makes sense. It's how they, it's what they're looking for. It's what the information they need. It's the legwork that they're going to look, and it just makes life a lot easier to where they get a little more interested in taking a quick look. I mean, I think the coin address is probably one of the keys to have, simply because that everybody wants to do the research and look at the charts, basically, and then everything from the chart side brings you to the Telegram, the X. You can look from Dex Tools. You can pull up all that information. So really putting the coin address is probably the biggest key there, if you don't want to put all the other stuff, because once they go to Dex Tools, they'll be able to just click on the X, click on everything. Because I always go with the address, and then from Dex Tools, I can find everything inside of Dex Tools.
No, for sure. And ultimately, I mean, there's plenty of people within our community, within the space, that are well versed in doing this. This, again, the reason why we're doing this is this is kind of like a tutorial for anybody that's been kind of an outsider looking in, that doesn't have a full understanding of this. This is all very easy, simple stuff to do. But if we can coordinate doing this as a community, our outreach becomes that much greater. And again, anybody that joins the space, if we're having a space that's dedicated to raiding, every single speaker is allowed an unlimited amount of posts, essentially, up to that Jumbotron. So if we're doing a raid session for 45 minutes, there's 10 speakers, and we all throw up 2 posts to the max, we're going to have 20 raids going. And if all of these 10 people are active members of the community and they're on stage, there's no reason why all 20 of those posts can't be rated by everybody involved. Now, 20 raids with in Telegram, 20 raids, you're talking about probably the whole day's worth, if not more, of raids being done in a short period of time, which ultimately, if you can get a community that involved for a short period of time, that will do way more for us than having one person throw raids randomly throughout the day in the Telegram. And it's not that that can't be effective. This is just way more effective, especially in conjunction with that already simple raid format within the Telegram.
Right. And this is where, you know, it's the most effective, easy to do, and it'll allow people to, you know, join and be active very quickly. And I think it's not that hard when you understand what we're doing here. So I think this right here is pretty much a breakdown of what we needed for the basics. Because a lot of times people are just, you know, they want to help out, but they're just not aware of the simplicity of what they can do to help out. So it's not that hard.
Another thing that's cool too is once we begin able to carry these out, and like I said, it could be random parts of the day. Maybe ideally we have a space like this, you know, a random period of time that works for everybody. Maybe it's nighttime in the UK, midday in the US. But then we hold this space and we hold it for an hour. And we label just like we did here. This is a Ninja raid session, but we're also doing a chill and still. And what we would do is everybody that's part of the Ninja community would have an understanding that what we're doing, we hold it for an hour. We label it just like we did here. This is Ninja raid session, but we're also doing a chill influencer post on the timeline, commenting on them, sharing them in the Jumbotron. And in the midst of this, the host, the co-host, can be holding down the space, you know, talking fluently. Anybody that joins the space outside of the community, we can welcome them, kind of let them know in on the deal, and if they have anything they'd like to say, contribute, or still, feel free to take the stage, and we'll let them have their time. And while they're chilling or talking or trying to educate or just, you know, contribute, in the meantime, in the background, we're all working on rating these posts up in the Jumbotron. And anybody that isn't a speaker that doesn't feel comfortable speaking or asking for the mic, it doesn't mean that you still can't contribute to the raid. One thing that you can do is find a raid on your timeline, rate it, and then share that link in the Telegram or via DM with one of the co-hosts or speakers, and then we can throw it up in the Jumbotron for you. You won't be able to throw anything up in the Jumbotron unless you're listed as a speaker of that space. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, or you just don't have the ability to join as a speaker, that's fine. If you still want to contribute in the raid yourself, just share the link to the raid that you've made, or the influencer that you've raided against, with one of the speakers or the host, and then we can share it up to the Jumbotron for you and ultimately have it rated.
Correct. So very simple to join in, very simple to be part of what goes on there. You know, so as we move forward, we're going to bring in other projects that we want to dig into, because we also want to be able to speak to them and go over their, you know, what they're thinking, what they're building. You'd be amazed how many people on here are actually trying to do something that's pretty interesting, right? And then there's a lot of good projects that pop up that have good ideas that are coming down the road, and it allows you to kind of like get a little more details out of projects and see where they're at, right? Because at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff, like I said, is getting your investment in, getting to a moon bag, and then supporting the project to see if the project can build, or looking at things to get ideals to add to your project, right? Ultimately, it's a universe of support. More people are going to be coming into this space, and right now is the I think the it's kind of like how crypto has we've been waiting for what we call the steps of the growth to crypto really comes down to acceptance, right? And the ETFs, and the where we're at right now is kind of like the first steps of crypto being accepted by big business, especially Bitcoin. And then the rest of it comes down to um, what is blockchain going to bring to all these companies, and where that goes from there. There's a lot still needs to be answered there. I think in the meme space, we're in the same situation. But there's a lot of memes out there, a lot of coins out there, and people are investing in all types of just pump and dumps, and they just want to hopefully make a 10x or hit a 100x. But I think the evolution is the next section, is realizing that this is going to be part of crypto, and then communities are going to be part of the big part of meme coins, right? Because eventually it won't be about one meme coin and one community. It'll be about a community of people that look at meme coins, which is basically what Ninja is. Ninja is teaching where we're going to teach everyone like how to look at all these meme communities, because eventually it's about being part of a massive community that is all looking at all the possibilities of all these projects, and then collaborating and working together to be in certain projects and certain things and support, and to grow the next phase of this, which is a massive community of meme coin, enthusiasts, right? People that research, people that look at, people that support, people that build on top of it, right? And that's where the next part of this is going to be, because the more people that come in here, there's going to be more people sitting around in their house looking at telegrams and discords, and they're at the end of the day, crypto is about bringing people together to talk about the next set of technology, which is blockchain. So this is where we're in the evolution of the meme game, which is community-based information, right? Not one community only. I'm only buying Pepe. I'm only buying Brett. I'm only buying. You're investing in ideals and communities that are building. And when you build a community that is overseeing and looking at everything and teaching the meme coin system and strategy, then you're going to see more people build, stick, stay, and you'll have that massive community that will be able to bring meme coins out there and market meme coins, and actually get some of these ideals to the floor, like actually get them finished. So that's really what we're excited about over the next 6 months, is building the foundation to that part, and knowing how to raid, and knowing how to just participate in X, and how simple it is to do these things, is a very important part to somebody who's just coming into the meme world, on how to support their money, how to support the project they believe in, how to support something they think is going to be, might have an opportunity to do something, right? And I think it's very easy to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, that wasn't that hard to, look at a post that's in a space, click on it, quote it, then, like it, share it, and
Are you
bookmark it.
still speaking, VC?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Please click on it. There we go. Quote it, then, like it, share it, and book.
VC?
You hear me now? Yeah, can you hear me? And we should be. Can you hear me now, brother?
Yeah, that's what X does sometimes. You can't hear everybody all the time. Sometimes, all of a sudden it's rugging.
That's right. Can you hear me?
Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
CZ this morning via emails. He was
Can you guys hear me?
There we go.
Can you guys hear me?
All right, there you hear me? Maxie,
I
you
think
hear
we're
me?
having technical difficulties. I can't hear anybody.
You're the chat. Maxie,
I
you
think
hear
we're
me?
having technical difficulties. I can't hear anybody.
All right, let's slide through this. I'm gonna hop in Telegram. Give me a second. Let me unmute. All right. So if they pop in Telegram, I'll be able to hear them. You hear me, Ashok?
I definitely hear you.
All right, there we go. Let me see here. I'll come in here. We'll have them end that space. But simple things that we can do to, put us in a situation where it's not that hard to follow that system of just, um, seeing something above, clicking on it, hitting a comment, posting it, supporting it, and just moving forward. So a very easy to do concept. Shouldn't be that hard to, do that part. So it makes sense, right?
Absolutely.
And so I think the next thing now is for the basics of, the next thing would be like understanding the investing side of it, looking at it as far as like how to take advantage of um, protecting your wallet, and understanding that it's like buying a lotto ticket, right? Everything's our memes. They're all broken down to, let me see here. They're all just broken down into, how to invest properly, and make the most money inside of um, your decisions on what you're picking. Meme coins for me has always been a very.
All right.
There
All
you
right.
go.
I
You're
gotta
back.
Oh my God! I got completely rugged. The space shut down. Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Did you figure it out?
Yeah, the space shut down though, so
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
wash for now. But we can do that another day, no problem. I think we can facilitate it, in an organized way where it's working. But you guys got the gist.
Yeah, I think kind of like at the end of the day.
Open space with all there. I was sharing posts. My mic keeps rugging me at the moment.
Yeah, you got to get if you're on the mobile, you got to just pick up a mic. Do you have a mic that you plug in or a Bluetooth?
Answer your phone. Well, again, despite being all over the place, I feel like that was pretty constructive. Those of you guys that were listening in, and again, this is a work in progress. Me and BC aren't doing a whole lot of communicating back and forth there. I think I actually hit him up a few minutes past 3:30, and he's 2 hours behind me, and he was like, "Oh shit, all right, I'll jump in there." So definitely something we can coordinate here in the future, a little bit more organized. And again, we're just kind of just going with the flow here, trying to see what works and troubleshooting and R&D and all this stuff. It works the best, and educating at the same time.
Yeah, the whole
Absolutely. And I think, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you're good. I mean, so it's just the education of the basics, right? Something to find the support and then just grow. I think the Spaces thing is very easy to use, simple to do. I mean, it's just they post on the jumbotron. You click on it, you like it, you bookmark it, and then you repost it with a quote, and that's pretty much it, right? And can be maximized at a very high level. So it's a very simple process there, I think, for everybody. Then what I was talking about was the next thing is, understanding that when you're overseeing or looking at a bunch of different projects or hopping into the hot projects as far as like taking a look at Deck Screener, what's dropping, a new project, or Pump Fund, coins that are coming out. I was watching a bot the other day. A bot made about, I forgot what it made. I mean, I know it took in like 4 million in the last 2 months, and I was watching it trade, and it was so interesting because I didn't really think about what it was doing until I was watching it, and it was like every time there was a coin that dropped, it put in a soul, and it would move on, and I'm like, so I started tracking all these projects, and I realized that at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because the bot was getting in so fast that the devs didn't have any money in the project, so they couldn't really rug the bot. But the bot was just kind of like waiting for it, would give it like 4 or 5 hours, and if nothing happened, the bot would sell and just move on with its life. It was a very interesting concept, right? So there's all types of ways to make cash inside the meme coins. And like I was saying, it's like it comes down to separating your funds. Having like if you're gonna if you have $300 or you only have $100 and you start off and like that's my $100 for this one meme coin, right? And then next week you got to come with another $100, right? Because you could lose that 100. You got to be in the mindset that you're going to do 100 trades, right? So when we do trading, we have a thing called the 10 trade review, right? Which means that when you do 10 trades, you review your profits of those 10 trades, like how you lost, if your stop loss was hit, if you hit your 50% target, if you went above and you tried to run it and you stop lossed out at 20%, or your entry fee. And you go back and look at your 10 trades, because if you look at one trade and it's like, all right, I stop loss, I lost 50% of my money, right? And it's always the same bag. So if you're trading with $100, you continue to trade with 100 every single time. So that way, the consistency is there, right? So for instance, if you trade with $100 and you lose 20, and you trade with $100 and you lose 10, and then you trade with $100 and you lose 20, you're down 50. And then the next trade you make runs and does a 50% gain. Now, in reality, if that was $100, you would have made back your losses. But since you didn't recoup your $100 bag, you were trading with $50, you only made $25. And then the law of averages, the next trade you do, you lose $5, and you're just being dwindled away, right? Because you don't know that you have to maintain a bag amount, so that way at the end of the 10 trades, your average of ups and downs give you a certain percentage of wins or losses, right? So if you're winning, let's say like 5 trades, and on those 5 trades, they're giving you a 50% gain, right? So those 5 trades, you're winning 50%. And if you're losing on those other 5 trades, 25% stop loss, at the end of the day, you have 5 winning trades cut in half at 25%. You can walk away and say, oh, I made 125% on these 10 trades. And then you start fixing your where you're losing, right? Entering too early, most of the time it's just entering a trade wrong, not waiting for momentum, maybe having your leverage too high. So there's a lot of things that we teach and educate in trading that can help you win. But once you have those 10 trades, and say, okay, I did 10 trades, I'm up 125%. You do your next 10 trades, right? You try to make that better. And meme coins are the same way. So if you buy a meme coin, you put, your $100 in, and it goes up, to 150, and you take out your $50, and it goes up another $50, and you take out your initial, right? If you do that 10 times, most of the time, you're going to have where 50% of the time you're going to get your $50 back out, right? Other times you're going to have coins that are going to do 100, 200, 300%. So you'll be able to make 200, 300 on those coins. So let's say two of them do that, and you make, $300. So 200 profit on two of them, and then the other three, go to zero, right? And you lose that $300. And at the end of it, when you add up your averages, you should have been able to at least have 5 trades that would have gave you $250 in profit, right? Or at least doubled up where you were. So you're just steady increasing. It's called like compounding. You're compounding your bag to where you're slowly, gradually increasing your bag amounts. So you go from putting $100 in each coin to eventually, in a week or two, you're able to put $150 in 3 different coins, and then eventually in 2-3 weeks, $200 in 3 to 4 different coins, and you just get to a point where you find a nice $300 to $500 bag that you have in 4 or 5 different meme coins from building up small wins and taking losses to eventually you could get a coin that does a 5x on a $300 bag, right? Now you're up $1,500, right? That gives you the ability to have more options into more meme coins where you have now you can get into 5 other meme coins at $300. So it opens up your possibilities of getting lucky or having a run. And if you do the steps properly, you should always either be breaking even or just taking slight losses as you're working through. But in the meme coin world, I mean, these coins jump, 3, 4, 500% in hours. So you should always be pulling out profits. And to kind of break that down would be like doing a trade, right? And a lot of the guys that do trades, their losses or their trades that we talk about are normally where they don't take profit. So for instance, like let's say you had $1,000 and you did a leverage trade, and most people can get 20 to 30% pretty easily, which is about $300. But what they want to do is they want to see a 100% trade. They want to make 1,000. So they'll stay in this trade and they'll battle a trade for an hour or two, and then they'll end up kind of like breaking even or losing on the stop loss. And what happens is they hit a $300 trade many times. It'll hit $300, but they don't take that money. Where I'm in a different mindset where as soon as I put $1,000 in a trade, I'm looking for $300, and I'm happy with that, because once I hit that threshold of 300, I know that during the week I'm going to make 10 trades that'll make 300. So I'm okay with taking the lower possibility, the lower profit area, and doing it 10 times in a week and make $3,000 just by, my spare time, right? And what people don't understand is that when you do that and you take those 10 trades, eventually that $300, that 3,000 starts to add up. So if you want to make more money, if I wanted to make $600, per trade, then I would just raise my bag from $1,000 to $2,000. So that way the 30% profit would go from 3 to 600, which means less risk because I'm looking for the lowest threshold, the lowest margin of gains, and it's easier to hit that target more often than it is to try to make a 100% X or a double up or a 50%, because I'm only going for 30 or 25% profits. But I'm using profits and I'm compounding them to make my initials bigger, so that when there is a 10% move, so say you have $1,000 and there's a 10% move or 20% move on a meme coin, right? That's $200, right? If you want to make 400, you eventually add that 200 profits up until you get a $2,000 bag, and then you see a 10% move, and now you're gaining more money, and that's how you compound your money. Compounding the profits is how you make $1 million. That's where people make the mistake because they're too busy trying to hit grand slams, and eventually they get whittled away. Like they lose hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and then eventually they get into a trade. How many times did people who trade in crypto start off with 3, 4, 5,000, and they're trading 500, $1,000 a bag, take a loss, and then finally they get down to their 300 bucks and they get in a trade and it does like a 5x, right? And it's like, oh man, imagine if that was the 5,000 I had. Well, you're not compounding properly. If you just take the profits that are given to you, you can build bigger bags, and then bigger bags means that you can take profits even earlier and limit the risk. That makes sense?
Makes perfect sense to me, man. It really does.
Yeah, because trading is just eliminating risk. So one thing is you can evaluate your own trades and say, okay, every time I buy a meme coin, right, or do a regular trade, what's my average percent? So if you can sit there and go, well, I normally get into meme coins and they do a 1x, and then I hold, and then it goes back to 0. And if you say to yourself, imagine every single time it did a 1x, you just took that initial out and you put it in another coin. And if that coin you stayed in went to 0, you really didn't lose anything. You just lost the profit that you had. But eventually you got into another coin and you kept doing that. And then when you left the initial, it did another 2 or 3x, and then you sold out and you made 300 on that profit. And then eventually when the dip came, you put half of it back in for a moon bag and you went on with your life, right? And that project one day does a 10x or does nothing, right? All those profits that you take and you keep collecting, even if they're small in your mind, $100, and even though you want 1,000, if you collect $100 10 times, you made 1,000. People are really giving away the money and then looking, trying to understand why they're not winning. It's like you are winning, you're just not collecting. It's a mindset, right? Like me, I'm a collector. Like I see the things run, I'll take 300, 400, 700, and I just, find a very simple rhythm. I'm okay with, 3 to 500, 700, because eventually they'll jump to 1,200, they'll do their thing. But if I collect 310 times, I've made my 3,000. That's a good week. You know what I mean? I don't know. Now that I don't know what people are making, weekly, but I mean, to me, in my mind, I live a pretty good lifestyle, and 3,000 a week is like, that's good candy money. I don't have anything that I don't get that I don't want. So I would think that a normal 3,000 a week should, be pretty good in today's economy. You know what I mean? Like I have no problems with that, and I kind of live my life based on that. Like I trade, and then whatever I make is what I live off of. So I treat it as if that's all I have. Simple things, right? And I just collect money every day, and then I just use that money for what I'm doing. And then the excess just goes into the savings every single week. It just keeps, piling into a savings. But that to me is like how you, build yourself into wealth, right? And it's not being greedy. Like I got guys who, I see a lot of posts where people say you can't do 100x leverage, and it's like my entire trading system's based on 75 to 100x leverage, and I got guys like right now holding $35,000 in gains on XRP because they did 125x when it was 50 cents. So you can make as much as you want to make, but I think the biggest key is just understanding that you have to have a system and a structure that you do over and over and over so that you can find the winning solution. Like you got to have a winning system. You can't just keep throwing money into meme coins and hoping that, this meme coin developer brings the 100x, right? Because I hear a lot of times when I read telegrams, people are like, we were promised so much. I mean, there's no promises in life. Death and taxes is about it. And, you just have to have a system where if you're putting $100, $100, and it makes $50, you take out half your initiative. And then you take out the other 50, you get your initiative or whatever you're doing, half of your bag and then the other half, and then the moon bag does another 2 or 3x. You collect that, and then you put half of it back and when it dips, because they're always going to dip, and then you have a moon bag, and it's like, okay, you never know. But if you keep collecting that and you keep buying moon bags, I mean, if you had 100 moon bags, imagine that I would say at least one of them is going to do a 10 or maybe even a 30x. You know what I mean? So the more you collect, the more opportunity you have for these moments. And as they go, as you keep collecting and building, you're supporting, you're growing. And then, by being active like that, you will get into a situation where your bags get bigger. You put $1,000 in a coin, and all of a sudden it rips for a 20x, right? You're sitting on 20 grand. That's not a bad day. If that happens to you, 4 times a year, it's not a bad year. 80 grand for, looking at meme coins is not a bad time. The entire objective is just to make sure that you don't lose the money as you're waiting for the 80 grand. And I think that's where the focus and the structure needs to be, really like pounded in, because people just don't understand that they're not really losing. What they're doing is they're donating their own profits because they don't take profits. It's like take Ninja for example, right? So I got Ninja's chart up here, and I watched Ninja since the beginning, and good concept, good ideal, and it's always had a good ideal, right? And it's not that the ideal can't be done. It's just sometimes it takes bigger funding, and it takes more devs, and it takes more stuff to do something like this. So what I realized was, as we were going through there, I would talk to, and you remember this, Ashok, I'd come and be like, hey guys, you got to learn how to take profits correctly. That's the first thing I ever said to this community. And everyone's like, no, we're going to do this. And it's like, well, if you don't understand how to take profits correctly, you end up in, bad situations, right? And there was many times that this project did a 200% gain, 100% gain, a 330% gain. I remember there was a time, like, even if when it bottomed out during the summer, it ended up doing a 300% move. And I made I was messing around in Ninja, and I put 5K in it, and I ended up making like 10K in Ninja on that move. And I was like, man, there's so much you can do here, and you can put back into the project later. And another part of, understanding how to take profits is that it allows you to have the ability to have extra cash to put into projects that you see have stronger, communities and stronger possibilities. And it doesn't hurt you because it's in there for it to grow, right? And I think in Ninja, as we go through the transition of the next phases of Ninja and its growth, and as it starts to turn its corner and build, and get stronger, a lot of the things that I read are people who are like, one guy was up like $80,000 and he never sold anything, and now he's back down to like $500. And other guys who were like, man, I lost 50,000, but in reality they didn't lose 50,000, they just didn't sell, right? They've only put in, $1,000. So a lot of the complaints are that they didn't take profits, right? But if you were reading the chat, you would feel as if that they didn't make money, or that they never had an opportunity to make money, which, kind of fuds a project, because it makes it seem like the project didn't make money, when there's a lot of people that made money here. They just didn't, collect it and then reestablish themselves in the community to help Ninja actually grow, or projects and other things that it's been waiting to do, like the meme coin aspect, other things that are coming. And they can't support the project because they never took out any initials or any profit to then support what they believe in. So there's a lot of people in Ninja that believe in Ninja, but they just don't have the funds to back it currently because they didn't invest properly. Is that about right, Ashok? What do you see out of Ninja?
I can speak from personal experiences myself, staring at some pretty large figures and not really taking profits. But that was just more of seeing the vision, hoping that more would push in that direction when it was pumping. And then ultimately, went in the opposite direction. And, you can't change what has already happened. But
Yeah.
I know a few other people within the community that have done the same thing, and to no fault in their own,
No,
part of
everybody's
crypto,
learning.
part of trading.
I don't think people know. So like when we talk, so when did you really get into crypto? Was like Ninja your first main project?
I got into crypto in December of 2023, and I dabbled in Solana and Ethereum for a few months, and then ultimately, I was looking for something to kind of like invest my time into community wise and just be a part of something rather than, you know, doing the whole day trading, swing trading type thing. And it was about a week after I lost my brother. A good friend of mine was like, check out this Telegram. I know you've been looking. This community looks like it's going to be doing something. And it was about 5 days into Ninja that I found Ninja, and the rest is history at that point.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, like this is like the one of the first communities that you got into, and A-Shot got into, and this is what I'm talking about is like the the steps of what crypto's doing, as far as like main crypto, right? It's um, the effect that it's coming into mainstream, right? It starts with ETFs. It starts with reviewing it. Next, we're going to hear about Bitcoin's power usage and how to solve that problem, because now that Bitcoin's at 100K, it's going to come down to how much energy it costs to make Bitcoin or to do the transactions, et cetera, and that's kind of like that's business, right? Anytime something comes out, just like electric cars or gasoline cars or anything, it's always about the consumption, what it does to earth and all that stuff, right? But that means that mainstream is picking it up. That means that it's starting to go. And in the meme coins are kind of like the evolution of what is normal out there. Like it's like a lotto ticket. It's like the possibility of putting $50 somewhere and making 500,000. It's the opportunity. What crypto brings is a massive you know adoption to the entire world, where people can all be in a meme coin from anywhere in the world, from Africa, from China, from it's everywhere. It's the UK, Australia, and it gives everyone the opportunity to play a lotto game and a luck game that is massively, has massive exposure, right? And that part started in 2021. And now I think we're at the point where what I was talking about is the next evolution, or the next step to meme coins is the community, right? Which is the things that drive the coin in the beginning, but then the community leaves and they go to a new community because there's a new meme coin. But I think we're at the point where the next stage is to start collecting the meme coin community and bringing them in, and then fixing all the mistakes that have been made throughout the time, and learning how to harness the craft of investing in meme coins and not losing. And that's kind of what we're doing right now with this. And that's where everyone's in the same boat. Everyone does the same thing. There's no one here that can't speak from experience and say, well, I was up 80 grand or 100,000. I got a guy in my Discord. I got him in SafeMoon. I told everyone 20, 30,000 in SafeMoon, you make 100, you make half a million to a million. And he put 30 grand in. He was up $400,000, and I sold SafeMoon. I made like 800,000 on that. And he held it. And he held it, and I went through the summer, and I went about my life. And when I came back, I was like, man, we killed SafeMoon. But he held it until it went back to like 60,000. And I was like, why didn't you sell when you were at 400,000? He's like, well, I just thought it would keep going, right? So everyone has the story where they were up hundreds of thousands of dollars, or good amounts, and didn't sell, because we have that belief that we don't want to let something that has proven it can do something go, because you just don't know its possibilities, because it can do something even bigger. Because once you've seen it, it's hard to unsee that. When you put $1,000 in a coin or in your, as a trust wallet back in those days, and you got like $1,000 or maybe 5,000 in there, and then you open it up and it's like 300,000, it's unfathomable. It doesn't make any sense that you're sitting there looking at this coin that doesn't do anything, but somehow your wallet is at 5,000 and now it's at 300,000. It's hard to believe. And once you see that, you can't unsee it, right? And now you just feel like at some point it's going to happen again. And then it does. It happened for Bonk. It happened for Pepe. It happened for Mobile Coin. Last summer, we were talking about Mobile Coin in July, and they were teaming up with T-Mobile in Miami to do a test. If you would have put 2,000 in Mobile Coin in August of last year, all the way up to September, I think it was October, in December, 2,000 turned to 50 grand, like literally. And it's mind-boggling, the gains that come in crypto. You're just not going to find that anywhere out there. And I think that sometimes that's what people get in the way of understanding a system. But we've done this for so long. It's been since 2021 now that it's been a solid run. So we have 3-4 years of experience where we can all look and go, you know what? We need a better system here, and this is what we got to do. And that's pretty much what we do. We just take the profits we build, we leave moon bags, and then moon bags turn into thousands of dollars. And when you do that, you will win in this community. But also the evolution of this, like I said, is a community of people that have interest in the meme coin world, right? And that's what, like you say, everyone is going to be a ninja one day, because they got to be. They got to have different tools in their bag. They got to learn more, and they got to utilize all the skills it takes to be a well-crafted investor or ninja inside of crypto, so that you have the highest percent of success. And when you do that, you will be successful. It's really hard. It sounds weird. It's hard not to make money in meme coins, right? I love meme coins. The reason I stopped talking about meme coins on TikTok and all that other stuff is because I realized that people they become gamblers. It's like you can't have a guy, like I used to trade Shiba Inu live, and I had guys win $20, $30, $40,000 in like 40 minutes, and then the next day they were buying Jeeps. Like one guy bought a new car, another guy bought a farm. It was pretty crazy. And they just kept going, right? They didn't realize that, every coin isn't Shiba Inu, right? You're not going to buy the bottom of, Brett, you know what I mean? Getting in Pepe super early. It's a rare occurrence, but there's so many coins that we see things happen over and over, right? And it's always chasing that moment. But you have to come back down to the realization of, like, if you work this system properly, there are thousands of dollars sitting at the bottom. And Ninja's kind of one of those projects where you look at it and you could have made thousands of dollars throughout Ninja. And then currently where it sits now, I mean, just to kind of give it an example, Ninja was at its peak early, and in its downcline, there's moments where just recently in September, I think the September 12th, the high, which is not that long ago, current from where it's at right now, if it moves to its last high, that's like a 4x, meaning that if you got into this project where it's sitting now and it gets any type of movement, which just takes it to its basic, the smallest, I mean, actually, I'm looking at it right now, it's pretty crazy. So in September high, which was...
It's actually a 10x.
Yeah, it's a 10x.
In September.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Like, that's not even, that's like the bottom, that's the smallest peak of its entire life. Like, if it just goes to its basic peak, like the smallest peak, the weakest peak possible from this point, it's a 10x. Now we're talking about a community that has 7,000 people, has the ability to, has, people who teach raids, focusing on it. There's some big things cooking on there. It's becoming where it's community based. Some people say CTOs, but really what it is a community, brainstorming on all the ideals of, possibilities inside this space of memes, Web3, bots and all these things. And all it's going to do is it's just once all the collaborations come together and all the details get worked out, this will easily push back up to its weakest point, which is it's a 10x from here. Like that's what blows my mind. Like this project right here, if you put $1,000 in this project, it wouldn't take much for this to go back to its support area, which is its lowest support area in September 12th area.
Now, can you imagine if something happened in the real world that involved an actual physical ninja? What the repercussions would be for a project like this?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean that's what I like, the possibilities. You know, there's so many things here that can grow from here. But that's what I'm. It's like, you know, somebody sitting around. If you invest correctly, and then you see this, and you look at Ninja, and you go, you know what? I really like that. Even though everything has been through, the community's still building, and they're brainstorming. They've got ideals, and they say, you know what? I'm gonna put. I made you know 3,000-4,000 in there. Let me put 1,000 in there right now. Because hell, if it has a jump, I'll make 10,000. It's kind of like, it still blows my mind on when you see this, where some people see this and they're like, I'm gonna wait. Like, what do you? You're gonna wait on a 10x? You're gonna wait until it gets to the 10x and then put money in, and then when it does a 2x, cry that you didn't get the 10x. Because that's what they do. They'll cry that it's stuck around the 10x level, but they don't realize it just did a 10x. And now they're in, and everything's still building, and it takes time to go from a 10x to a 3x. But they don't understand that because they don't understand how this is evolution of growth, right? And that's where focusing on those type of things, it just, when you have moon bags and you have cash that you could just put somewhere like a venture capitalist or an investor, you're not looking at a 2-month time frame. You're thinking long term, right? And this project has a lot of things going on, and you know, there's a lot of things to be introduced. But this is where $1,000 in this project would be so critical, because that 10x to the support, and then just to, you know, just a peep of, as it grows to the next level. The next level is a 3,000%. You imagine that? I mean, it's mind-boggling. But this is where people have to look at it and understand that, you know, when you find projects, this is what I call the degen zone, right? Like I normally ape in the degen zone because I'm working on percentages, right? The possibilities of something, right? Buying really early or buying the really early dip, right? The lowest dip. You know, these are the moments that things can happen. But this is where once you build a community of people understanding things, and they can be into something like this, then they'll understand, you know, how growth works. But that's the mindset that we're working on, and that's the next thing that, you know, is kind of like the transition of understanding what you're looking at, you know. But it's going to be interesting. It's like I said, you know, that's why we go along, look at all these projects. I was just looking at your, I was looking at Dougie. I seen Dougie pop up over there, and just kind of like taking a look at all the projects that are out there, and really just watching how they evolve. You know, you never know when something's going to pop, but if you invest correctly, there could be moonbags. Imagine the 1,000 ninjas that made profit coming back and saying, "Hey, wow, look how low this is. I got $1,000 for this." I mean, this thing could have a rocket candle, a nice solid candle, and then all the other people that are looking at Ninja would put in because they realize that it's active again. And next thing you know, you see a solid 20x out of nowhere, and then things are popping again. So easy to see the transition. But it's exciting because education is going to be key in this project, and then growing everything out. I see that, you know, there's a market space coming in, and I think we need to dig in it and just kind of like, I would like to have a space where, we got a lot of the action ninjas in there and the ninjas that are all sitting around, and kind of like just pick their brain, you know, like what's going on in your head? What are you looking for? What are you waiting for? What would you like to see? And get real information on everything, and just kind of like build from there, you know. It's kind of exciting. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, you like? I mean, it is. So moving forward,
It is.
I'm gonna piece together the details. We got to get something put together where we post for the 10 to 20% cash back on everybody, and then say, hey, use your cash back to put chunks into the projects that we're highlighting. We have Ninja, we have Dougie. I really did like Dougie's artwork, and then all these other communities we need to get set up, and let's get some. Let's get set up where we do an hour of review through things, and then move into where we get some people on projects to come in, and then let's talk about their projects, and start digging into the space a lot more, and just growing the awareness of how projects work, how to support a project, and be a better community member. And then that's where we'll really focus on it and grow. What do you think about that?
Well, this is especially when you're looking at the chart. I mean, this is a super buy zone right here. Like, there's a lot of people that have probably been watching Ninja for a while from the outside looking in, or maybe under a microscope that just haven't said a whole lot. But like, the price isn't going to get a lot lower from here. So, I mean, those of you guys that already have investments in the project or plan on making an investment in the project, definitely DCA all the time. If you have an allocated amount of funds you're trying to throw at the project, I would do it sooner than later, just because I don't see us sitting at these levels long. It's been a pretty red market today. A lot of projects have taken a major hit. Some big projects too. So I think when the liquidity starts pouring back in, like it's going to go to the projects that have been staying consistent, and that's
Yeah.
one thing we are is super consistent.
And I think, kind of like understand. I think the next thing we do is we'll dig in the chart tomorrow. And I think there's little things here that people don't realize. Like, for instance, like you go to top holders, right? It's right on your DEX tools. You can see the holders in here, what they're holding, etc. And kind of like see what the project looks like. But the most important thing is liquidity, right? This is something new they put in. But you can see right here, there's $83,000, basically $100,000 in liquidity. And there's a thing right here called burned, right? And they're actually letting you know that this was burned. So that's gone. You have other people that have some liquidity in there. And this is what you were talking about the other day, was that people could put in liquidity. And I think that's the next thing we kind of look at is let's break down the charts, and then go over putting in liquidity, putting different positions into their chart. So things that they can do that they're probably unaware that they can do, and I think that's kind of like the next level of breaking down, supporting a project or liking a project or getting the maximum out of your project is my positions. I mean, there's so much information now that they're putting into this section here that they're really like giving a lot of information here that you can take advantage of here. And this is where I think a lot of people are trying to figure out who holds what's important, why is that, or we have simple wallets here. Like, we have a wallet here with 5.3%. We know that wallet's been holding forever. It hasn't sold anything, even at the top. This wallet's rather new. It holds 1.6%. This wallet is another wallet that's in there, and kind of like just explain. We'll do a whole thing on breaking down these wallets, and I'll show you guys how I can look into these wallets, see when they were buying, if they're a community member, if they're active, when they actually first bought. And like, for instance, let's take like this 7 7 p.m., right? So if I go to what I like to do, I know, let me know if you ever done this. So what I'll do is I'll go over to Telegram, right? I don't know if you guys ever did this, but you go to Telegram, and then inside your Telegram, there's the search, right? And you paste in there like the wallet address in there. And if you're inside your search, or like Search Ninja, right? There's always buy bots in all these places. So when you search that, you see it like here, it has no results. That'll tell you that the bot, it might be a different scenario. So let me take this one here, copy address, slide over to Telegram. Let's search Telegram here. Let me see if this finds anything. Now, I think I have to be out of the chat. But what you do is you search the addresses, and inside of Ninja, you'll be able to, the buy bot will tell you when their first buys were. So you can see if this is somebody that's in the community that's been buying, how long they've been buying, when's the last time. Here, let's try this here. This might do it. There we go. Okay, so you see this? I'll show you here. Let me see if I got this shown. All right, so I'm going to slide this over here. So in Shinobi, you see how I have the buy bot now in my comment section? So now I can look through this wallet, and I can see that the very first time that this wallet here bought, you can see this wallet was active on November 5th, 2024, right? So you can see the safeguard bot, buy bot. You can see all the times this wallet has bought, right? And this just lets me know like when they're getting in, are they new to the space, right? This gives me some information on my top holders. So this holder right here has been buying. It's been around for a while. So that way it lets me know that, it's community-based wallet. So these are things that we want to teach and educate people on, is how to review a chart and then get into a chart a little bit more so that you can understand what you're looking at. The other thing that they have out there, a lot of people do bubbles. But bubbles information sometimes is like, you can go to like the bubbles, but sometimes it's like the weirdest thing about Dex tools is you go to bubbles and it's like it's updated for the last 5 months. But then if you want the current information, let me see how it says bubble maps, right? If you want the current information, you have to sign up. And I went to sign up one time to check it out. It was something ridiculous, like so many bubble tokens or something. But it ended up being like $300 for a month. And I'm like, why would I pay $300 to look at bubble maps? So it's just, there's so many things that you can look at and how to look at it and where to look. And I think education in the whole thing, which is what we're coming. Here's bubble maps. So you can see here 2 months ago, right? So you can see here bubble maps shows us what's connected. Ninja has there's a couple groups here of wallets that are connected. A lot of times, you want to be very careful in those, and you can see like what they hold by clicking on them. That holds 1%. And this just, kind of shows you at the end of the day how much they hold all together. So this cluster of bubbles owns about 4%. And this is where people start doing research on how many wallets are connected or sharing, etc. But this is the master, the big wallet here, which holds the 5%, that is connected to nothing. So that is one massive wallet holding its own. So that's a good sign because it's not really connected to anything. The second one is this wallet here, 2.5%. This wallet just came up. It hadn't been around, and now it's starting to collect, right? So the point that I'm trying to get to is that when you see these type of wallets, you can also take a look and see like who's investigating your project and who's looking at this project. And when you find those wallets, trade history and stuff like that, you can go back and see if these wallets are big wallets, small wallets. And the one thing about Ninja over the last 4 weeks has got a lot of new buyers that came in. And these new buyers were actually, they've had $50,000 to $100,000, well, $50,000 plus in their wallets, and they're buying and selling. So they're trading Ninja. They're just not holding Ninja because there's so much up and down that goes with it. It hasn't established itself into a movement up, right? And this one you just go to just kind of quick. We'll go to Zapper real quick. But this is what we need to dig into and start educating. So this is a part of how to, kind of see what project has people looking around. I mean, I don't know if you know, but there's a $110 million wallet. So if I said that Ninja has a wallet that has $110 million in it that bought Ninja 6 weeks ago, and oh, here you go. See this wallet here? Isn't that crazy? You see what I'm looking? Let me. You see what I'm looking at, A Shock?
Yep, I see it right here. Yep.
Wait a second. Where are you looking at something? I can't. I mean, you don't have it here, right, on the video.
No, it's on.
He has
It has on the recording. It'd be on
space.
Spaces, or it'd be on X. But this
Oh,
wallet,
If
really?
you,
yeah. So
if you go to venture capital,
What's that? What did you say, Ashok?
if you go to spaces and look up ventured capitalists, that's
Oh, okay.
Nation's handle, you can open his office.
oh yeah, look at, so like
All
on
right.
X, go to VC Crypto Nation.
Okay.
VC Crypto
Hold
Nation.
on.
So what we're looking at is there's a wallet here, right? 73F, right? If we look at our buyers and what's going on in Ninja, right? This wallet here just sold $500 on December 10th, right? Literally, and it holds, which is crazy. This wallet's value is 35, well, actually 5 billion. It's got 3.35 billion in Giga. You see what I'm saying? So it's not that there's these crazy wallets that are hanging around Ninja, which is really interesting. That hold big amounts here. Like this holds 3,000 in Kia, 1.8. This craziness over here. But there's a lot of coins there's a lot of like meme coin people that are like circling the project and are buying, $1,000 here, $1,000 here, $3,000 here, and they have a lot of coins that they look into. You can see that they buy a ton of like meme coins. So they're out there circling the project, and these are possibility of massive whales, right? So that just lets you know that Ninja's on a radar, and Ninja has a massive outlook out there. These type of wallets don't look at coins that are not interesting, right? They're looking at this project, trying to figure out, what's the next step for this project, because it does have a really big community, and it can, like I said, the lowest level is a 10x away, and then the basic support is about a 40x. So that means if you put 10,000 in, you can make a half a mil. I mean, half a million, about a half a million. So it's not weird.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, so like, it's like things that I look at every day myself. Like, I sit here and go, if I put 10,000 in right here, and we did a 10x, I mean, it's $100,000 profit for just getting
Mm-hmm.
a jump, which is going to be, if I said A-Shock, hey, A-Shock, do you think how hard do you think it's going to get hard for us to get to that November 12th amount? He'd be like, oh, that's nothing. That 10x is nothing, right? But the 40x, which is the basic support area, that is the real goal, and that doesn't look like it's going to be that hard to do. So 10,000 in right now is a $400,000 play. I mean, worst case scenario, it makes 50 to 100,000. You see what I'm saying? There's no real downside. Right now, the what A-Shock's saying is that the prices are so low. There's 100,000 in liquidity, which is kind of what the big wallets are looking at, because that means that you can't really rug pull this project, and they're investigating these other wallets. Then they're thinking, okay, what am I at risk here? Like, is there anyone holding a massive amount? The average guys hold about 0.5%. The bigger wallets hold 1.5%, 1.2%, and then a cluster, two clusters of wallets that hold 5%. It's really not that big of a deal. It's about 20% at risk. So 100,000, 20% dumps on you, you're still making 50 grand. So the risk factor for big wallets is pretty much gone here. That's why we say, as a community, you want to buy this up because you want to protect yourself from the whales that are going to come in, and if they see any type of, direction that we're going to have coming up in the next couple of weeks, any type of movement, any type of, growth in the telegrams and the volume and the trades, they're going to start, sneaking in here. They're going to start like picking this up because they're not dumb. They know what makes money, and they know how to make money in this space. So if I take a look at that wallet with the bigger bags, I can see that this wallet has been buying basically since I've been buying, November 6th. So the other wallet we looked at was one of my wallets, and that was November 4th. So wallets track wallets, right? So what I look at, other people look at, and what other people look at, I look at. That's what people say. I found this wallet, I'm tracking this wallet. A lot of people track wallets, right? So when you have certain wallets buy a coin, then other wallets look, right? So I started buying Ninja November 4th, and a lot of big wallets started buying and sniffing around November 6th because they're interested. And they're seeing what I'm seeing, right? And there's huge possibility here, and that's why, a lot of times I think that being in the community the entire time is just coming down to education of understanding how to be a community player, how to build your project properly, and how to support a project and not, scare away these people that want to put $10,000 in, right? Or, have them look at your project and read a couple comments and be like, there's still treachery in there, right? Community is about solidarity, and movement forward. And that's what's happening right now. It's Ninja sitting right on the turn, starting to, turn the boat around. But it's, we're taking a little bit longer because some people are still rowing in the other direction. We got to paddle the same way. So that's what I look at. When I see 20 wallets that have 50 to 100,000, some of these have 100 million. When I see the big dogs sniffing around, I'm excited because there's possibility here, right? So now it's just a matter of time, right? And a lot of uneducated people, like you guys just don't know who's looking at the project. You don't realize how much money is sitting right outside the project. They're just looking around wondering what's going to happen. If there's any type of life, any type of movement, any type of direction, the community comes together, the charts start to, stay consistent, right? That's why I said there's a thing where we have the community. I was trying to show you guys that if you only bought 0.0023 of Solana a day, which is only $5. So if you bought a coffee a day, and every single day or, every 4 hours you put $5 into the chart, and you had 100 people doing that, this chart would just read green, 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 and then big wallets will put 500 in, and then they'll put another 500 in, and then they'll start to see the momentum, and then all of a sudden you start popping up on algorithms, DEX scanners, DEX tools, and then random people are buying coins like, oh, this is making a move, I'll put 2,000 in, right? And then things start to get crazy. But that all happens with a solid community that's rowing in the same direction. Like Ashok always says, the biggest moves happen when everyone was going in the same direction. Right now, people are going in two different directions, and that's why we started the educational side of this, because they just don't understand what is happening, where they're at in the project and what could be, right? And that's the whole problem. Because it's not that there's not money for Ninja. Ninja's sitting, there's all types of wallets. That was just one random wallet I picked up. that's sitting on a ton of cash, just lurking outside of Ninja. I mean, they just sold 500. Let me see what they have of Ninja. This is just a wallet that's just sitting around, looking for projects, right? Possibilities are huge, when it comes to this. And that's just where you have to understand is like everyone's always around, right? So right now it just sold 500 of Ninja, but it still holds $400 of Ninja. So it's still sitting there, and it's connected. So it's just sitting around waiting to see what happens. But these are possibilities. That's where, people have to learn in crypto what's happening, what's available, what's possible, and why you need to pay attention as far as like how things are happening. Because a lot of times people say the dumbest things in a telegram. Like the other day we had a guy and he cracked me up because I didn't really say anything because it was like I didn't want to sound like a jerk, right? But he was a guy who was like, and I'll tell you why, because in my mind this is how I saw it. But he was like, came in about a week ago, and he was like, "What's going on? What's happening?" And everyone's like, "This, and this." And then he was like, "All right, well, I'm never selling. We're going to the moon." They call moon or dust, right? Meaning either you go to the moon or it goes to zero. And he's like, "Man, I remember I was up 100,000 and I didn't sell, so I wouldn't sell now." He did this whole spiel for like a week and a half. And the other day, he's talking. He's like, "Let's just have fun in here. Let's build the project. Let's just do this and this." And then, like out of nowhere, Sai announces the transition of wealth, the coins, the assets, taking over full Telegram, and all these things that are positive for the community because community has more control. And out of nowhere, he's like, "Well, guys, it's been a great ride. I just sold all my bags, and I just wanted to say, good luck to you. But I'll be watching, and if anything, this was the funniest thing." And he goes, "If anything happens over here, I'll jump back in." And then I looked at the chart, and there was like one sale. Well, there's like 4 sales, and they were like $100, $50, $30, and then one big one for $350, which basically didn't affect the chart at all. And it actually went up because people bought that little bit, where people were buying at the same time. And I was like, and I don't know, in my mind, I just started laughing because I was like, you made a grand hoorah about holding on and keeping everything, and then you like announce that you're selling your bags, which theoretically, if somebody was watching the charts or watching the telegrams, could have started a landslide of people going, "Oh shit, I better sell too," but didn't realize that he only held a couple $100, which is nothing. Like, you know what I mean? But that
Yeah.
nothing could have caused 5 other people to sell $100, and then someone with $500 would have sold, and then someone with 2,000 might have sold, which could have caused the chart to go terrible because they read that this one guy was finally selling. And I just wanted to say, bro, we didn't need to know you're going to sell your $40. Like, what the fuck? Why would you FUD the chat because you're selling $100? Like, that might be big news to you. I'm sorry, but it means jack shit to me. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm in projects for $10,000, $15,000 a pop, and this whole time you've been holding on for dear life to $100. You need to do better. I mean, but that I sound like a jerk. But I'm just like, damn, because that could be, some guys are like, "That's all we have," and I'm like, well, shit, you need to get a job. I mean,
No, I understand.
Yeah, because this is how are you going to put $100 in and try to make $1 million? It blows my mind. But this is crypto, but it's just like so funny to me, and I didn't want to be an asshole, but I was just like, dude, did you make a big deal about selling $40? I mean, hopefully you were the guy who sold $350, but I don't think so. But damn, even $350, like, come on, bro. You had to make a grand announcement to sell $350, dog. Like, oh my God, we're not gonna miss it. Take it, go. It was just so bad. But he doesn't realize that's the mentality of the people, and it's like it slows the project down. Like the people who are putting their, the smaller people, $5, $10, who are growing, it's like you're hurting their growth because you're bailing out with that small amount. It just blows my mind sometimes. And that's where the education side needs to kind of like really build in. Like, dude, it's crazy that we had to read that in a chat. Like, when all you have to do is, just stay focused on the things that are happening, and there's direction, and there's things happening, and there's takeover of telegrams, and there's all types of stuff happening. Like, you wait till now to be, all right, guys, I'm out. Take my $50. I'm leaving. And I don't know. Maybe it was just me. I mean, it was like 3 a.m. I was just like, really, dude? $50? I'll send you $50, bro. Here. It was nuts. But that's where, having the having the whole thing is like, once that's all gone, hopefully, that's why I keep telling people, hey man, I've listened to you guys gripe for 3 weeks, but we have to turn the corner. Like, let's get back to business. Like, it's investing, it's building, it's a project. Like, that's why I look at guys like Ashok and Sai, and I go, here's guys that are working really hard in the community. And honestly, if I was investing in anything, I'm investing in people. Like, I'm investing in these guys. That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if I could have a guy shill my project in every single space he's on all day long in X, I think we're going to be all right.
I think so too.
Yeah, something will happen. We just got to come up with some little things. And the greatest thing is that in the meme coin industry, it's just community. You don't even have to come up with anything. That's the best part. You just need to get momentum. So it's just, to me, that's when I was like, we just need education on this, because they don't understand, the whole thing. Like, dude, you support the project, support it. You don't announce that you're selling your $40. Like, come on. It's but that's what makes it great, You see what I'm saying? But if I said that, I'd been like, oh, don't be a jerk. I'm like, dude. I mean, it's at some point, it's like a sitcom, you got to have fun with it. But I'm excited for Ninja. Like, there's a lot of things, and I think the education and teaching people how to just make money in crypto for free, get paid to trade, get these extra things. Like, I think that's the things we should share. Like, how to make money just by being involved in crypto, because that's what everybody loves. Everyone loves crypto. So if you love crypto, we will find you ways you can get paid just for doing what you do daily. It's what you love to do. That's it. That's what's beautiful about this new industry, is that you can get paid. I mean, there's video games you can play. You can play like Web3 games and get tokens for playing games. I mean, I remember when we were investing in what was that? That first Web3 game. I think it was Ajax or something like that. But there was kids.
Oh, I don't know the games anyway.
Yeah, they were crushing it. There was guys making $400 a day just playing a video game.
Axie Infinity.
Yes. No, we got it. I called that coin out when it was like $3, and we rode that all the way up to like $21. But it was, and then to 50. Then we rode it to 50. Yeah, we made a lot of money on that. But I was more impressed that you could just sit there and just get paid $300-400 a day just playing a game. Like, yeah, you didn't even invest. I'm like, man, this is awesome. Like, where do you, this is great. Like, I remember I was in, if you don't have the VR, a lot of people don't go into like Sandbox and stuff like that, but Sandbox VR, you go in there. There was a guy making like $10 a day, and he was sitting inside a Subway making you fake sandwiches, and you could tip him. And it just blows my mind, like, what's coming. It's like this guy's literally sitting somewhere with his VR headset, vibing inside of the virtual world, and people are walking in this Subway, and he's just serving them sandwiches. It's insane. I love it. So with all that, I'm just like, people just need to understand there's ways to get paid in money, There's ways to make money in crypto that you don't even have to do. The cashback thing, people are going to buy Bitcoin. You're going to trade anyways. We're going to set up a section where you can sign up. We'll get you the VIP code, and you just get cash back on the money that you're doing. I mean, you do it every day anyways. You might as well get paid back for it. You know, and then take that money and use it for, you know, meme coins and projects that we're highlighting. And you never know, that could 10x, it could 100x. Do your job and invest correctly. You could turn that into another 10x to 100x on your money during the next 5 months. I mean, it's easy $100,000 out there in meme coins. There's so much money. I mean, it really is crazy. You know, when I look at it all, I'm just like, man, how do you not make money in crypto? It's insane. It really is insane. I mean, I love it. It's an amazing space, and I think the one thing that the reason why I love A-Shock is because it's the evolution of the people that are here, what they can create, what they're working on, the community, the coming together, and just really like the next phase of it, the adoption phase, right? Right now, Bitcoin, the main phase of Bitcoin and everything is being adopted to business. In the meme coin world, the next phase of adoption is going from being, degens over to communities, right? Where you build something together, and that will bring more success. And that's really what the whole Ninja is about, is just growing and realizing, hey, we're going to show you guys how to make money in the meme space. And everyone's going to be a ninja one day, because the only way to succeed is to have many tools and knowledge and have a system and a structure that you can constantly use to be, profitable, and then share that with communities so that they have more ability to be profitable. Because if you support your community, then it's cleaner, it's better, it grows, and guess what? There's more money, right? This is basic concepts that we live in our normal life. We just have to bring them to crypto and then use them to build for the people that are in it. All right, A-Shock, what do you want to add to that, big dog?
I'm pretty much good for now, man. I have to attend to some shit real quick anyway. So I appreciate everybody down below that stayed tuned in, everybody that listened in that's not here. Appreciate them too. But we'll be back tomorrow for sure. And if you want to think of a game plan or something like that, let me know.
Yeah. Let's talk to some projects, and I like the spaces. I think we go into the spaces and then bring other projects in for like that hour and a half, 2 hours, and then dig into other projects. And that'll give us like real-time data, and then people can, kind of like learn from that. It's actually just go do what we do normally, and then show people what we would invest in and how we would do it, so they can just follow the blueprint. You know what I mean? All right, play us out.
The Hood.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Ninja. Jindi, I see you. Always keep. ਕਦੇ ਕੁੜੇ ਪਿੰਡਿਆ ਕਹਿਰੀ ਲੱਖ ਦੇ ਚਾਹ ਦੇ ਰਾ ਸ਼ੌਂਕੀ ਕੁੜੇ ਨਾਲ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਉਹ ਕੰਡੀਏ ਕਾਇਮ ਤੇ ਰੱਖੀਏ ਟੋਚਨ ਨੈਟ ਫਸਾ ਕੇ ਨੀ ਵੇਖੀ ਟੌਰ ਜੱਟਾਰੀ ਕਦੇ ਕੁੜੇ ਪਿੰਡਿਆ ਕੇ ਹਲੀ ਅਖਵਾਉਂਦੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਨੱਕ 'ਚ ਜੱਜਦੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਕੇ ਛਿੱਲ ਲੋ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਟਾਂਗੇ ਕਿੱਕੂ ਨਾਲ ਖੇਡਦੇ ਖਿਡਾਰੀ ਪੱਕੇ ਹੁਕਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਨਾ ਚੜਦੀ ਨਾ ਧੱਕੇ ਜੱਟ ਬੈਠਦੇ ਆ ਟੱਕੇ ਜੜੀ ਲੋ ਲੱਤ ਨੂੰ ਜੜੀ ਲੋ ਲੱਤ ਨੂੰ ਜੜੀ ਲੋ ਰੇ ਲੱਤ ਨੂੰ ਆ ਵੇਖੀ ਕਾਲ ਜਟਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਦੇ ਕੁੜੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਆ ਕੇ ਨੀ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਚਾਦਰ ਸ਼ੌਕੀ ਧਰਤੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਨੀ ਆ ਵੇਖੀ ਕਾਲ ਜਟਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਦੇ ਕੁੜੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਆ ਕੇ ਨੀ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਚਾਦਰ ਸ਼ੌਕੀ ਧਰਤੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਨੀ ਕੌਣ ਹੱਥ ਪਾਲੂ ਖੱਬੀ ਖਾਨ ਜੱਟ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਹੱਥ ਪਾਲੂ ਖੱਬੀ ਖਾਨ ਜੱਟ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਕੌਣ ਹੱਥ ਪਾਲੂ ਖੱਬੀ ਖਾਨ ਜੱਟ ਨੂੰ